Hey everyone, Kim here, Abundant Life Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me. We are discussing the two statements from neighbors who live very close to the Jack and Lilly Sullivan. In part 14, which I recorded on October 19th, 2025, and I'm recording this October 20th, 2025 at 12:59 a.m. I mentioned that there were cards that spoke to these witnesses, and I didn't know, particularly one card that I'm going to show you in a moment, I didn't know exactly what they meant at the time, but now I am a bit clearer on what I believe they meant. And so I wanted to discuss that with you. So what we're looking at here is there's been a lot of chitter chatter in YouTube, on YouTube, I should say, about whether or not these two individuals, Brad and Justin, are credible. And I even saw one YouTuber who was like, it was a big-ish, way bigger than my channel. She was like, this is a red herring, this means nothing. And I'm like, whoa, 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 pump your brakes. I don't think this is a red herring. I even have covered that specific question about quote-unquote red herrings in the past readings I did on Lily and Jack's case. And you can check out the videos I've done. I'm going to link the playlist in the description box. But I want you to take a look at this comment on Mike Damman's channel. This comment was under a community tab post that he had talking about where is this particular Justin located. So he put that on October 19, 2025, and I was just going through the comment section, and this one stood out, and I want to talk about it. So Mrs. Katie McDonald wrote, "It was released, Mike," she's talking to the channel owner, Mike Damman, "that Smith was standing on the 289 at Lorda Park at 9 a.m. on Friday, May 2nd, waiting for his drive to work. He had been staying at Lorda Park for a time, short term. He called search and rescue and law enforcement, if you remember, and the call was on the dispatch recordings released, offering any help with identifying traffic on the 289 that morning while waiting for his drive. He made the statement of hearing the vehicle, I think, May 17th, when interviewed by the RCMP." Okay, so there was a question on could this particular witness have heard anything based on where he lived. People don't know where exactly he is in the mix over in that area. But this, I think, spoke to answering that question. Okay, now, the part that I really want to hone in here is this part, which you're probably like, why, Kim, why? So it was released, Mike, that Smith was standing on the 289 at Lorda Park at 9 a.m. on Friday, May 2nd, waiting for his drive to work. So, do you see that hitchhiking picked up card there sitting underneath the death card with the black bird? Do you see that? That hitchhiking picked up card was one I could not quite peg or figure out when I did the reading back on May 6, 2025. I could not figure it out. And then look at it. Look at the line of cards. I zoomed in on this particular section because I wanted to just highlight this section of cards. Look at this line, death, hitchhiking picked up. Keywords that are standing out is picked up. And then whistleblower coming forward, truth revealed. Stranger is sitting next to it. At first, a lot of people were probably thinking, oh, it could be a stranger abduction. No, that stranger card is speaking directly to me as a former adjuster and investigator. It is saying this is as independent of a witness you can get, to bearing witness to what may have happened here. What may have happened is at the top there, the death card. Okay? And then the picked up card is speaking to Justin getting a ride. Getting a ride. And being at Lorda Park. And that's why he was in the area the way he was. And then look at the next card. It says, whistleblower coming forward, truth revealed. So now we're looking at the very first reading I did, the opening oracle reading that was recorded on May 6th, the Mildred Payne Secret Pocket Oracle cards. Number 49 is the Crow card. And the guidebook says, omen of bad news, moving from place to place, or criminal activity. Okay, so I wanted to show that to you because I remember that standing out to me, that card. And then also card number 39, which is about cleaning up a situation or getting a situation in order. Domestic duties, okay, like trying to clean up something at home, all right? So we've got that going on here. And then the mushroom card is card number 80. Card number 80 is about a growing problem, okay? So it's failure, poor decisions, doubt, taking a risk. And when you think of a growing problem, what was a growing problem? What was a toxic growing problem that needed to be dealt with? So I'm showing you this section of cards because I feel like this speaks to the moving from place to place. And there's a criminal element allegedly attached to this movement. Now we're looking at this particular pick, which I have to say, this one is the gift that keeps on giving as it relates to this case. First, we have the first two cards, Anger and Chains, and sitting next to the Masquerade card. We've talked about this combo before, and it's like, okay, who has anger? Who is trying to keep someone in bondage, and who's masquerading, who's hiding that? And then we see the Ghost card, and we see that next to the Road Trip card. And we see the Road Trip card sitting over the Pinocchio character. Now, when I see this Road Trip card, I'm thinking to present day, October of 2025, where a lot of YouTubers are looking at maps and combing through the area, you know, with drone footage. And then we're thinking about who could be telling the truth and who could be lying about this place and that place and this drive and that drive and the road trip. Who is driving here and there and everywhere? And some people are saying, when I put this reading out back May 6th, May 7th of this year, the Ghost card could represent a nearby cemetery. I had some other ideas about the Ghost card, meaning the children may have crossed over or transitioned or ghosts of the past. But some of you have mentioned about a cemetery, which I always found interesting and intrigued by that. But I haven't had a chance to really look at the maps like you all have had. Some cases I can dive into it, but I just haven't had a chance. But you see how the Ghost card is sitting over that little microwavable TV dinner? And remember how I said I felt like something transpired at dinner time the night before they reported missing. I still feel that way today. I could be wrong, and this is all alleged. And then we have the mixologist. What about that card? What do y'all think? I have my ideas, but for just the sake of this conversation, I wanted to point out the Road Trip card to you and the Pinocchio card and how they're sitting next to each other, and how I still feel like that is speaking to what happened the night before and going into the wee hours of the morning. So I recorded this particular reading on May 19th, 2025. And the question that I posed several, but question number 4, which has the bottom card, so you'll see those there, with the reverse high priestess, the lovers, the justice card is there. Those cards is what I'm talking about. The question that I asked way back in May, what is coming up next in the investigation? And that's so interesting because the Justice card represents the season of Libra. So we are in that right now. That's from September 21st to October 20th. And I'm recording this as of October 20th, 2025. And this is a critical time in the investigation. What's next is secrets being revealed. We have the High Priestess in reverse. Normally she's about keeping secrets close to the vest, right? Hidden knowledge. This is about something coming out. A pair. We have the lovers, a pair of people coming out with information. And we have the Knight of Fire, Knight of Wands. So with this information, this pair knows something about a knight, a male in this situation. This information is going to be revealed in the season of Libra, in the season of the Justice card period. There will be someone denying this information, saying it's not true. We're already seeing it. We're seeing it with content creators. We're seeing it with people who follow these content creators. We're seeing with the main players who are involved in this case. And then we have rule or country card and then outside. From what I gather, I think one, if not both of these witnesses may have been outside at the time, or that they hear all of this transpiring outside. They are in a rural area. And so again, I wasn't quite sure of how to interpret these cards exactly back on May 19th. But knowing what I know now I see exactly what it was telling me. You see why it's important to review and go back to your readings, to memorialize them, and make sure you can go back to them, whether you record them on video or you take pictures or you journal about them. It's important because then you can go and learn and reflect, especially in these types of readings. That would be a tip that I give people. And I keep all of my photos, all of my still shots. Each of my cases have file folders, or they have folders on my desktop, and I add these pictures to those folders, and I don't do anything with those folders until the case has been solved. Then I close it and then I remove it to my cloud, my Google Cloud. So yeah, that's what I got for that one. All right, so I also recorded this one. This is part 4 on May 19, 2025. Okay, and question number 6 was, what are the clues to unlocking what happened? Look, check out the card. Check out that card. Check out the 2 cards, or really the 3 cards in that row. We have the 5 of air, which shows the spider and the spider web, right? And 5 of air, 5 of swords, for me is associated with the timing of 5 months, or the season of midwinter, okay, whichever is most applicable. 5 months ago was what? May? Yes. Web. It's a web, and someone's going to get caught in that web. And check out the 9 of water, 9 of cups. That card came up in part 14 that I just recorded earlier tonight for one of the neighbor witnesses. And it is sitting next to the whistleblower coming forward, truth revealed card. And then in that same little section, we have cult or groupthink, regret or remorse, affiliation, and then strangulation. Okay, I'm really focused on that first row, the 5 of air, Nine of Water, and the Whistleblower card. Wow. Wow. That's interesting. Check out part 14 if you haven't had a chance to. Check it out. And you will be like, whoa, I cannot believe that these same cards have come up, and it's specifically talking about what would break this case. What could turn it to a different direction. And see, law enforcement already knew about all of this. We're all caught up in the web of thinking it's going one direction. They're conducting searches from time to time because they're trying to find these sweet babies so they can have a slam dunk case. Yes, I want to believe that they wandered off. I do. I want to believe that, they're alive somewhere. But I think we know. I think we know what's going on here, and I hate to even say it. So, before we move off of this pick, I want to draw your attention to question number 8, which is the last cards at the bottom here. You can't really, I don't have a pointer with this editing software, so sorry about that. But key timing elements of the case. And you'll see there's September in the coming months. We have here November within 6 months. I want to draw your attention to the November card. I feel like something is coming about in November. Maybe a break in the case, whether we know about it as the general public or not, or something big is happening. Now, when I did this reading, I also look at the past key timing elements, but I do often look at the present and future as well, and I believe I did that as well. I didn't listen back at my reading, but then it's sitting next to the within 6 months. November will be 6 months from when they was reported missing, I should say. So something's coming down the line, I believe. So keep the faith, friends. Keep the faith. We also got the in the coming months card. September is interesting. I wonder when CBC, when did they file and when did they get the records released? Because if it was in September, that makes sense. And so that's why we've got this going set into motion. But I feel like everything happens for a divine purpose and a reason. And I also feel like the RCMP, it's very intentional about how the information is being released. I talked all about that in my past readings, how they're working hand in hand with the media. Oh, yes, they are. And if you think they're not, they are. And then the only thing that also stands out to me from this set of cards is the wee hours card sitting underneath the midday card. Midday, they're calling and reporting the children missing, but the action was happening in the wee hours. The wee hours preceding, allegedly. All alleged here, okay? Another thing that I want to point out that concerns me is the 3 to 5 years card. I pray it don't take that long. I really do. You all let me know what you think this card can mean. Remember, key timing elements cards can speak to the past, present, and the future. So feel free to share your interpretations of what you think it is. I feel like it could be like how long it takes from start to finish on getting this case resolved. And I pray that's not the case, but we'll see. It could be something factoring in how long the parents were together to the time that this happened. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I'd have to really sit with that. But yeah, that's what I have. I wanted to review and revisit because it's important too. It's important for me to not get caught up in doing a whole bunch of different readings about a case before I look at the original readings that I did on said case, right? I did do part 14 because we have these witnesses coming forward and there is a question on their credibility from a lot of folk. But yeah, really a lot of what I need to gain and understand about this case comes from the original readings I did that are found in the playlist. So yeah, check them out if you want. Or if you have a question for me, like, Kim, did you cover this part of the reading? I will happily direct you to the part, or the part, maybe not the timestamp. Usually I timestamp the tarot readings, not the oracle readings. But I will direct you because chances are the readings have touched on it already, okay? Do me a favor on your way out, pretty please. Please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel and leave me a comment. I want to know that you all are watching. I want to hear what you have to say. And praying for these babies, praying that, we find out where they're at. If they're alive, oh my God, I would be so thrilled. And you all take good care of yourselves, all right? Bye for now.